Hey everyone, we made it. We made it. Evan here. I'm really excited to be here. Founder of Rally. Before we do this, sorry, excuse me, this is my first time doing a webinar. I'm just going to put my phone on airplane mode. Um, Founder, we're learning every day. This is a rerun of we had some technical difficulties last time, but really excited to be here and basically, just to understand how this is going to work, we have a few slides to just give you some information on who we are and what we're doing, and we'll then dive into the demo. I have some team members who have accompanied me and us to help showcase some of this stuff, and then we'll have some times for Q&A. I think we'll have different times um, at 2 points we'll have do some Q and A's. One after the demo, and then there's another slide after that, and then we'll get back into more Q and A. Here we are. First slide: bring clarity and alignment to estimation with Rally. I'm gonna start, and just to let you guys know, I do know there's a delay with the webinar. We're using this pretty cool new tool. Shout out to Restream for hooking this up, and we know there is a delay, and that's something I have to get used to. So bear with me, but we'll just dive right into it. Yeah, and you know what? I could have literally said this stuff as I was talking right now. Today's agenda, just to recap, what is Rally? We're going to talk about some top agile challenges teams face. We're going to get into that demo again, and how much does it cost, and where to install. And if we are lucky and we have enough time, we will talk about how we also tie in with the assign, which is literally goes hand to hand with alignment, right? If we're going to be assigned work, we need to know what we're working on. So that's today's agenda. So what is Rally? Um, you know, a lot of people are probably thinking that. You know, we First of all, let me just say, we're in the process of figuring out the whole positioning and branding of everything. We are aware there's another tool called Rally, and they do a little something different. But right now, we're looked at as Rally. Domains Rally better, right? We are a plugin for at Jira. That's called Rally for Jira. But basically, the big, holistic view of what Rally is we're the ultimate collab tool for agile teams. By combining agenda building, estimation, and capacity planning into a single powerful platform. Uh, Again, this agenda system is a huge key component. We have all these tasks that are in project management tools. These project management tools weren't designed to collaborate, and that's why we have these whiteboarding tools. And it's really a place to store data, and to add to it and collect it. It's not the pleasant it's not a pleasant sight, as most of you all know. Looking at a backlog, um, I get headaches, and just stress being in there. I don't want to collaborate with my team in there. So we've introduced this really cool way of building an agenda, where you can literally take the items that come from your backlog sprints, from Jira, and build an agenda, and utilize that agenda for a number of different things. But what it provides you is a vehicle for organizing and facilitating. Um, and then, what you do with that agenda, we'll get into align, how, allow your team to bring alignment into different ways in rally sessions, by enabling teammates to estimate, chat, and respond in real time or asynchronously. So, um, that's kind of what we're doing with the agenda. And the way we've built Rally is right now there's two core components to it: align and assign. Um, One of the most two important things when it comes to working remotely, especially. Um, we need to make sure we're aligned on everything. If you're agile, like I actually looked up, just to as a refresher, like what does it mean to be agile right now? I googled it, and you know what Google says. Let's see. Let's look up the definition of agile. Uh, let's just go off of. I actually used ChatGPT last time, and feel free to mention in the comments as we're talking. We'll go over it. Feel free to don't wait for things. I always forget things if I wait. I have to. That's why I interrupt, and it's a bad habit. But there's some components to agile, and I should have been prepared and had this ready. But there's some core principles, right? Just want to make sure I got this right. That came from ChatGPT because it really resonated with me. Um, Adaptability, customer centric approach, collaboration, the iterative progress, empowerment and ownership, continuous improvement. All these things that just really has a common theme. And it's just being together as a team, right? And working. So, you know, that's kind of how we built Rally. It's very flexible, and team approach, team oriented. So, for example, building an agenda, you can have your team suggest items. You'll notice there's a lot of things that we've incorporated into Rally that encompasses a lot of these aspects. Um, Let me continue though. We'll don't want to dive too deep into it, but and then we have assign, which basically simplifies capacity planning by assigning work items based on team members' availability and workload, all within the same platform. We'll keep it going. And that's kind of what we're at with Rally. Um, Top three challenges agile teams face: complex or time-consuming estimation processes. Um, that's one thing that teams face right now. They can be lengthy and inefficient estimation process, which often frustrates agile teams, especially those working remotely or across time zones. um, no one you know we want to do something that is that is a nice experience, and it's such a shame to see how something that was designed, and you know there's tons of teams out there who love doing it, and it works, but there's also tons of teams where it's not working, and it's an interesting learning process and a journey, but we're here to help with the ones that are struggling with it. um it's even hard to know if you are struggling with it's just one of those things. But you know basically, you're following the slide, the cause of why we have these time consuming estimations, is because we're one, following old traditional ways of doing things, which could be everyone in a meeting, only one person could speak at a time, right? um Something like that. You know but there's obviously other ways of doing things that versus that. We could do things asynchronously. There's a lot of different styles. One thing that we've done internally with Rally is, we'll utilize a Rally session, an agenda, send it out, have people work on it, and then come back in real time, still have the meeting like we always do, and go over it. And if anything, it just provides a better experience. Again, impact of this time consuming estimation process. Time is wasted in long sessions, reduces productivity, and discourages teams from engaging, resulting in guesswork and declining morale. This is a big one because once you go down that path where you get discouraged, it's hard to get back from that. And you know, uh, I've been there. I've been discouraged, and it's not been a good experience. An easy way to get out of that is join a different company. Go to a different team. Of course, it depends on your role, right? If you're a dev, an engineer, and you can only do so much. You're not the leader of really facilitating some of those things. It's hard. It's an awkward position. Um, but again, how Rally solves it. We have this asynchronous estimation session, typical planning poker experience, allowing distributed teams to participate at their own pace, reducing meeting fatigue while maintaining structure and accuracy. Number two, lack of team alignment or understanding of the scope. Agile teams often struggle to produce accurate estimates due to differing interpretations of project goals, priorities, or requirements, leading to misalignment within the team. Cause of this, you know, um, is because we all have different brains, different perspectives, um, and experience levels. But yeah, differing interpretations of project goals, priorities, or requirements that lead to this misalignment, uh, can really impact this experience. Um, and we need to make sure we have the right tools in place to help kind of cater to these problems. I even mentioned here also we are human. We get distracted or we lose interest. That's also a very common case. Um, but when this stuff happens, right, it impacts the estimates. We can get inaccurate estimates. We can miss deadlines and have friction during the whole process. How Rally solves this is by utilizing the agenda synchronously. We can add more time into alignment by estimating and chatting around work items. Supplement your team's estimation with Rally's AI power estimation. Um, and I'm actually pretty excited to share that. It's a really cool feature that has tons of opportunity to scale. But I won't get too much into it. We'll go to the next slide. Number three, ineffective capacity planning. Most agile teams struggle to allocate tasks effectively due to a lack of visibility into team members, workloads, and capacities. Um, Causes, I'm very interested to hear, everyone's thoughts on all these topics. Feel free to, comment in the thread, about all these different, you know, three different problems that I've talked about, and if there's more that you want to talk about. But This one, really can come from just poor alignment and lack of visibility into teams members' workload. And um, Rally basically solves that too. We have this really cool template where after, and it's all optional. Like you don't have to use the aligned. You can go straight to assign, and you get visibility into everyone's workloads. Which helps facilitate the whole task assignment. Um, but I want to do less talking and get into that stuff. And we'll get into the rally demo now. I want to try to save some time so I can actually show you that assign as well. Uh, let's do that. So now I'm going to switch to my screen. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And you should see Rally right now, which is this is the lobby page, and where you can, where you go to after building your agenda. You'll see your agenda here, and you can still add items to it. I'm not going to get into how we build agendas. I'm just going to really focus on the align session right now. You can see I have some team members here. Everything is built in real time, and of course, you can utilize it asynchronously. So I'm going to join the session, and just to let you guys know, we have three fun items that we're going to be bringing alignment around: sanitize frequently touched surfaces, empty trash and recycling bins, and declutter living room. All great things that we love doing. So I'm going to join it, and here we are. We're in Rally. So, what I'm going to do now is ask the team to, go through some of these agendas, or these items in the agenda. We have three right here. We can see we're all actually looking at the first one right now. And, you know, ask it, get feedback from you guys. Do you have any questions around these things? Because, I'm looking to estimate. Um, so, just as demo purposes, right? And to understand, what we're looking at and how we interact with things, we have this nice space where we, of course, can see what this is about, right? This is about sanitized frequent touch surfaces. And we have the description right here. Um, and that's kind of what we need. We need to know, okay, what is this about? And if there's anything that comes up, anything that misses. So I'm going to ask you, team, do you feel like this is at a good place to estimate? Can you estimate? I'm actually going to enable this right now so that we are going to estimate, and I'll also enable this too. So these are basically two components that are highly optional. um, Estimation is one, and highlights is another. And what highlights will do is actually analyze the discussion if we have discussion, and provide highlights and also potential new items that are, essentially things that come up in conversation that we should explore in a separate work item. Um, so I'll enable these right now. And this is just the beginning. We have a whole long suite of components that we're building out in here, and I'm very excited for that. But again, alignment isn't just estimation. You can have chat and already bring alignment to something. But the beautiful thing about this is that you have the luxury of choosing when and how, all in one tool right here. So I'm going to participate in this, and it looks like we have an idea of, okay, commonly touched surfaces. We have the kitchen surfaces are commonly touched and should be monitored for cleanliness. We have the office surfaces, especially on the first floor, and also high touch areas that need attention. Um, okay. Um, I am going to assume. Let's actually ask a question. Um, are these surfaces on the counter, or are we including the floor? The floor is a surface, right? Looks like we got someone who asked something right here. What types of cleaning products should we use for these high touch surfaces? That's a great question. And you can kind of see we have this whole chat experience, right? Um, we can view it this way, but this whole chat experience, as far as functionality goes for demo purposes, right? You have your typical upvoting, your resolve, unresolve. We can click a question or just a message, I should say, and we can reply to it here. The cool thing about this chat too is that, if you end up leaving, we have all these notifications built into it. We integrate with Slack, looking to do Teams soon. So we try to do a good job with having people, stay a part of the conversation if they have to leave, and come back later. So what I'm going to do, it looks like we have some chat messages going, conversations going. I'm going to set a timer for, let's just say 5 minutes, and let's just try to wrap up with these conversations and resolve them, and then let's get to estimation if we can. Um, my wife is big on not using toxic stuff, so I'm going to just say that. Let's try not using anything toxic. Which surfaces are the VIPs of germs in your space? Hint, anything you touch before coffee. That's great. Definitely want we can have a lot of fun with this. As you all know, whatever comes from a project management tool is highly customizable. It can be utilized internally. It can be for a client. It can be for anything. So you can really have fun with this. And we utilize. There's a lot of exercises we do internally. We did a New Year resolution thing. There's a lot of different ways on how you can leverage this. But as you can see, right, we have this whole chat experience. Now, as they're talking, one thing I just want to show, that's pretty cool is, we have this highlights component that I enabled, right? And it's already analyzed some things and it's going to continue to analyze. But it's already identified potential new items that could be, separate work items. And we can actually literally just create that Jira work item from here. Um, and just so you know, we try to use as much of as the native fields as possible from Jira. um, this title comes from the Jira work item, same with the description. We have the status. We can even see the status. This is in to do, right? um, if we change this will update the status. Everything has a bi-directional relationship, which is really key. So I'm not going to go too deep into all these conversations, just for the sake of time. um, but you can see, how this chat works. And I'm just going to ask the team for demo purposes. Let's just estimate. Um, and I want you guys to try to take this seriously now. Okay. Um, I'm not going to do it because you guys can see my screen. So I'm not going to estimate right now. I'm sharing my screen. And that's one of those things too, right? It's a psychological aspect to it. Actually, before we do the estimation, let's just do this for demo purposes. Let's estimate with AI. AI is analyzing. Basically, what AI is doing is it's looking at the work item, analyzing it, analyzing all of our discussion pieces, and utilizing some pre-trained, logic in some areas. But basically, what it did right here is it analyzed this work item following the Fibonacci sequence, right? Uh, Again, we use the Fibonacci sequence 1 to 34, and it gave a nice estimate on that. Following that, and then it gave a breakdown. It broke it down what goes into this, and we can even see how long it takes for certain, you know experience levels for certain items. Now, obviously, no one's going to take this seriously for this kind of work item, but and it's kind of funny to see these results, right? But you can imagine how helpful this is in some situations. We've seen a lot of different use cases. If a team isn't familiar with a technology with a work item, or if you have a new team, but and then also people who don't want to estimate first, right? Um, or just have no idea. This provides a nice baseline, but this is just a suggestion. We're not here to replace any kind of user input. So again, right, we can look at this and hopefully utilize this as a helpful resource. Everyone has access to this in the session, and I want everyone to estimate. So it looks like we got two people who've estimated. Um, we're about to hit 0, 1, 0. All right. Looks like we got some estimations in, and we even had a discussion within 5 minutes. Brought alignment around, and I'm just going to reveal it. Whoever didn't vote didn't vote. Okay. Let's clear this up. Well, hold on one sec. What's going on here? Do I have to vote? We're having some technical problems. So just so you guys know, we're on a dev environment. This isn't our prod environment. And it looks like I just came across a bug. Of course, it's during a webinar. But basically, when we hit reveal, right, okay, here we go. I don't know what happened here. Um, we see everyone's, right? And then following your typical planning poker experience, we decide, okay, what is this going to be? I'm going to choose the higher number. It's always good to play it safe. Obviously, Roma, sorry, Ron. Um, Ron thinks it's a little more complex. I'd like to learn about a little more why. I'm not going to take the time right now to do it just for demo purposes, but best practice. There's a lot of best practices and stuff. We're not here to really talk about those best practices, but you know, uh, if you guys are interested, we have a program called Rally Coaches, and that's where we really dig into the best practices on not just what it is to be agile and all the different methodologies, but how to actually utilize Rally for that too. Uh, so feel free to reach out if you're interested in that. But we're going to submit that 13. And another thing that we can do too, I'd like to ask the team to just estimate if they haven't already. If you guys are going to be doing this, just estimate your time too. So we have this nice way of estimating time too, right here. We kind of incorporated the Fibonacci sequence. You can choose hours or days. For demo purposes, I'll just participate here. I'll save that. I'm going to say it's going to take me 5 hours to sanitize frequent touch surfaces. I like working slow, and I tend to take a lot of breaks. And then we just estimate it. And you can kind of see that here in the agenda list. We just estimated. We have 13 points right here for this item. And we kind of, the goal is to kind of go through the agenda and, just, do the same thing, right? So we'll go to empty trash and recycle bins. And we can see, right, people are kind of navigating, right, to other items. Looks like some are kind of going, checking out the others. But this is all how you use this is up to you, right? Um, and I'd love to get into how we do it and what we best practices on how to do it. But what we'll do right now is we'll just do another timer. We'll do a 5-minute timer. Let's get into empty trash and recycle bins. Looks like there's no description. Very common case. A lot. Everyone I'm sure has come across an item in the backlog that doesn't have a description. One great use case for this with using Rally is it's a great way to kind of get that description, right? And a team-oriented approach. Looks like OJ message, how often should I empty the trash and recycle bins? Great question. I'm going to say this is actually only for one time. Lucky you. So we're only concerned about doing this once. We're just here to just empty a trash and recycle bins. Luckily, this isn't a recurring thing. Any special disposal rules for certain materials? Yeah, that's a good question. You actually need to bring the trash and recycle. Oh man, my typing. To the end of the driveway. And we've already have now, look, we got some highlights right here. One cool thing that you could do, and I have some really exciting things that we'll be releasing in the near future that kind of tie in with this. But for right now, what you can do right now, I have this takeaway right here, right? This is a clarification on the trash and recycle bins management. Emptying the trash and recycle bins is required only one time. And looks like we got some more coming in. Uh, Looks like we have something else related to the instructions. But the thing is, what you can do now is you have these takeaways. It's what I've been in a place where I've come to a rally session and there's this whole discussion, right? This has been a huge, powerful component to like being able to go into an item, kind of get a quick highlight, understanding, and basically utilize that to your advantage. So like I can literally just take that here, come back here, and just put that in here. And right there and then, right, we've updated the description. Um, and this is again bi-directional. So if I go back to Jira, we'll have a description. So let's see. Let's look at the takeaways. Yeah, we're in the takeaways. We have this one right here. There is a requirement for individuals to take trash and recycling to the end of the driveway. Just take that, put that in there. And then we have some potential new items. Looks like we have something that AI suggested that we should create guidelines for disposal of special materials. That's a pretty good idea. So that way, if this were to happen again, we have these guidelines, and I can easily click that and create that, and that will go right into my backlog. Uh, let's uh, let's estimate if we can. It looks like I don't know if we feel like we can actually. It looks like no one's estimating. What method of disposal is applicable to? You're killing me. But we could, for example, this one got resolved. We can resolve that. We have some nice ways of navigating through the chat too. We can go through filters. We can see things that have been resolved, unresolved. Um, how often are we emptying the trash? I hate making all these decisions. I just, um, I'm going to just come back with a question. How often do you think we should empty the trash? But anyways, just for demo sakes, guys, let's estimate here. Um, oh, it looks like we got someone did AI right here. Oh wow, we got it. This is not complex. Make sure you do your time estimates, please. This is going to be important because I think we'll have enough time to do show how it works with assigning the work. But yeah, we're estimating. Reveal. Let's do 8. Oh, miracle! Thank you. Um, and we move on to the next, right? And so, like we have this nice toolbar at the bottom. It's how you can kind of navigate. You can see we're on the 2 out of 3. We can actually always add more items in here if we want to. And yeah, so let's go to the third one. And these kind of cards are like the central focus of how we, what we're doing here in the session, right? We have the chat, estimation, and highlights. All right, so we got declutter living room. Um, I'm going to just mention the living room is 800 square feet. Looks like not everyone's here. I'm going to call their attention. And when we do that, they should get a notification and they come over, by the way, just so you understand. Uh, what else? What exactly are we decluttering? Right? I'll answer my own question. Typically, we want the floor cleared off, and also um, the tables next to the couches. How soon do we want this done? That's a great question. Let's get this done. I want my living room decluttered because I'm throwing a party there Saturday. So let's get this done Friday. And how can we make this space so comfy? Even your pet won't want to leave. What are you talking about? It's already comfy. Having a little fun here, chatting. But yeah, let's for demo's sake, let's just wrap this alignment session up quickly and just estimate. It's so hard facilitating a webinar and actually trying to facilitate that. I think that's something that I'm realizing right now. It's like two different types of facilitation. All right, so let's go with 8. Okay, that's great. Looks like we don't have permission to submit some estimation. Huh. You know what? I'm just gonna reload this. Okay, so we just submitted that, and now, yeah, we're kind of done with this estimation session. We've estimated, right? We have our story points. Probably some of the team estimated their hours if they're gonna, work on it. If not, the good thing is we in our assigned session we account for the we have that flexibility. We make in case they forget to do it or haven't done it. Um, and I'll show that in a sec. But before we get into that, just trying to follow what we're supposed to do here in this webinar. I believe that kind of concludes the demo. But where are we at with time? I think I'll just quickly show a sign real quick and then do Q&A. And to get to a sign, we have, you can actually do it with the same agenda. You can build a new agenda item. But for this demo purposes, right, we'll go right into a sign here. And you can kind of see like it has like literally it's streamlined. We have the timer right here. It's recognizing that, we were just using it. And now we're kind of here in the session. And We each column is basically each team member. And here to the left, we have a nice feed of the agenda. Each This is each agenda item. We can see the story points right here. We can see the status of what it's in. We can actually see the total of the points that it's adding up to. So picture this being like, let's say a sprint, right? These are the items that we're working on. We can gauge the overall health right here. Um, and what we're going to do right now is I'm going to ask the team to set their capacity for this week, for demo purposes. I'm going to set mine. I'm going to say I'm going to work 10 hours this week. And this is actually going off of. Before we do that, we need to actually set the time frame of this session. We need to know something. So before I do that, let me actually go right here real quick. So typically, you can come here and do it too. And when you do that, right, we have these perimeters of knowing, okay, this work that we're assigning, what is it, you know, is it between certain times that you're looking to get this work done, right? Start and end. And, we can do it in a lean way. You can just say that these next 5 days, right? Starting today, or you can actually, utilize um, some dates that come from a sprint that you have. For this purpose, I'm just going to do lean. And now I'm back here. I set it looks like my capacity is in here. And looks like we got OJ did his capacity. Miracle, you still need to do your capacity. And I don't know why there's two of you here, Miracle. um, Ron, Ani, if you guys can set your capacity. But what we'll do, and just so you can understand, these avatars here on the card show who have estimated their time. So essentially, this one, right? I can see I did it. Looks like OJ did it, and Ani. So I'll just filter out me, Ani, and OJ. And what I'll do is we can see how it's going to impact, right? Um, right when you pick it up. So this is a 5-hour work item, right? That should take up half of mine, right? 50%. That's for me. OJ, 15%, because he has a higher capacity. And for Ani, she hasn't set her capacity, so we have no idea. But we can still assign it to her. So the minute we drop these items into here, it will actually assign them the work item. So if you go back to Jira, it will show them as the assignee. So right here, we're doing a few different things. We're assigning the work, looking at their capacity. And here, next item. Let's just clear this out. We got Roma, Miracle, and Ani. Roma, Miracle, and Ani. Ani. Okay, this is part of the problem with dev. You might come across bugs, but you can see, right? We have a whole long list of the team. I don't know why this is not filtering. Another cool thing about assign is that we can actually add people who aren't here. So if we wanted to have someone that we know is going to have bandwidth, and we could, just anticipate that, we can add them in here. But here, I'm going to filter Ani. I'm going to filter Miracle. I'll filter this Miracle. And okay, let's see what happens here. So Ani looks like Ron hasn't set his capacity. Ani, looks like you can take this more. So you're at 71% now. Congratulations, you have 2 items now. But you know what? The more I think about it, okay, so okay. So it looks like Ani, you estimated 3 hours, right? And 2 hours here. So that gives you a total of 5 hours. As you can see, it's taking up 5 hours of her time. She's got 2 hours left, so we got to be a little careful here. I like to give padding. We don't want to fill it up all the way. Um, and then we have one more item here. We got Ron 5 hours, Miracle 2 hours, OJ 3 hours. Let's get OJ in here. The cool thing about this too is once you do this and assign it, you can always reassign it to people. You can come back here. You can see, you can change the status of things. So there's a really cool dynamic to this. But for this case, I will, let's get right here. Okay, looks like someone just took it. Yeah, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties. I apologize with this. Um, that's the love of testing things or showing things in a dev environment, and we do that for security purposes. We can't do that with prod. But these problems aren't happening in prod right now, and that's why we have prod, two different environments. But I'd like to end that right now. Let's for the sake of time, let's get into let's see if there's anyone who mentioned anything. um, let's go into the chat and change the scene. We got Q&A. Look at this. It looks so professional here. This tool's cool. Makes me look more pro. Um, Ask questions in the chat. We can overlay some stuff. We got a question from Jeremy. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software, over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration, over contract negotiation, responding to change over following a plan. Um, So I'm assuming that was probably like a definition of something. Um, and I have to try to make sense of what it was for. But yeah, uh, let's keep it going. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. It was the agile. Yeah, that everyone has their own different definitions, and so much that they want to share on what it means to be agile. But yeah, that's what I figured. Thanks for sharing that. That's a nice perspective. Looks like Jamie was having some fun here. He was trying to play along with the estimation and the discussion. Next time, Jamie, when we release our feature where we can invite people outside the organization, we'll invite you next time, and that way you can be a part of it. All right. Looks like there's really not much. We can just move to the next. If there are, we'll catch it at the end. But just want to let you guys know, Rally's free right now. Um, Rally for Jira. It's a plugin, like I said. There's a link. You should be able to get it already easily off of rallybetter.com. Play around with it. We're not going to be free for long, but when we do transition into pricing model, we're going to be honoring the founding users and providing them a very nice special plan for them. Still hashing out the logistics of things, but we will be doing that. Um, and then next, what does the future hold? Um, I have some notes here that looks like it got deleted and it didn't translate over. I'm going to talk more about that at another time. Basically, we're going to keep showing love for Atlassian. We have some nice integrations with Confluence, and we have a pretty big roadmap that we're trying to prioritize things. But Atlassian will definitely get love, and we're trying to incorporate a way where we can make it easy for to break down items in a rally session and how that can where you can see the relationships for an item and a subtask, for example. But we're about to incorporate a whole new aspect of how we interact and rally and align, and we're going to be incorporating our own rally doc. So that will be a pretty cool, fun thing to see. So imagine, just having, a rally session, estimate, and have a conversation, discussions, and then you have a doc that you can kind of create and recap, right? Recap things, interact with some really cool components that will make uh, accessible in the doc, and you can even have like a retro. But essentially, you could, if you wanted to, you can utilize the doc to facilitate your session too. You could just you can write notes in the doc. There's gonna it's gonna add a little more dynamic to the functionality. Um, so that'll be really cool to see in there. Um, but there's tons of other stuff that that honestly I need to dig up and find where I wrote that. Um, and yeah, if you are interested, I'll try to share something later. But yeah, I think we got about 8 more minutes. Let me, if there's any more questions or thoughts, feel free to mention it. But thanks for joining. And looks like I have another scene that I did not add a media source to. But yeah, um, thanks for joining. And I hope this video was a nice little intro to who we are and what we're doing. And stay tuned for more. I need to get better at this, or I need to hire someone, who can do webinars for me. I'm not really the ideal person, to be honest. But yeah, uh, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.